Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight we're going to look into something really interesting, which is how we can connect different entities without creating a specific join between them. Like we only have a logic join. Let me just show you what I'm thinking about right here. So especially if we're playing around with statistics, where we have some data for a year and a week. Then maybe we have some other data also for a year and a week. Then we don't want to connect that data where we don't want to join it with an ID as we usually do, because we do not. It's not a real join, so to say. It's not a hard join. It's like a composite non-updatable join that we want to create, and that's exactly what I have right here. So in some of the last videos you probably have seen that I've been playing around with heroes, so I'm continuing with this theme. So this time I have an animal rescued stat entity, and then I have a villains defeated entity right here, and they are all statistics based on a specific week in the year, and then we can get a quantity of how many villains has been defeated in that specific week. Then we also have a number of animals that was rescued in the week. And now I want to get that data out, but I want to get it out with one query. I don't want to create two queries and then join it logically. I want to do this with the through JQL. Of course, I could write the JQL myself if I wanted to. But in this situation right here, I want to have a logic. I want to have a logic link between them, so I can actually just go through my Java structure and then I can fetch the data, because it's much more convenient and much easier. Then I don't have to think about the JQLs every time I need this data. And I know in this situation right here, it is logically connected, but it's not with a real join. So the way to do that is to use the join columns. That is the composite column option that you can use in JPA. So join columns, and then you can mention multiple columns that your join consists of. So you actually have multiple join columns right here. We have a week year number right here. I have named them the same in both entities just to make it easy. Of course, sometimes you would probably see that they have slightly different names, and of course you just do that. So you have a name right here. That is the column name inside this entity where you are right now, and then you have the referenced column name. That is the name in the reference in the villains defeated entity in this situation right here. So that is in the reference column name that you have to put in right here. Then you have to put in something that is really important, that is insertable false and updatable false, because this is just a virtual join that we are using for fetching data. We're not using it. We're not updating data we're not using this join to update any data or to update any data structure as we usually do with the JPA. So it's important: insertable false, updatable false. And then there's another thing right here. We don't want to have any constraints, so we will just say no constraints, so we don't get any weird constraints that suddenly will stop us from joining these two entities right here. Okay, so far so good. So that means that now I have the join on one side. If I wanted to, I could also have added on the other side. Then I would just have a one-to-one and then map by. I'll show you the code, but I will not use it in this scenario right here. Then we will say one-to-one, and then we will say mapped by, and then we will name the other field that we had just before. So that means the villains defeated right here. So that means that we will say that this has already been mapped by villains defeated, and then we will say, and then we will have a reference like this. I will just outcomment it this time, but it is possible to do that. Just remember, when you are doing stuff like this, then remember to have a toString exclude, so you don't get an infinite loop. Infinite loop is just not something we like, and also we should never have data when it's an entity actually. So I'm just going to remove that. We should have a getter. We should have a setter. The reason why I don't like the data is because it also overrides the equals and the hash code, and that can give us some problems when we are playing around with the JPA. It does not like us to override the toString, the hash code and equals. If you want to override the hash code, and equals, then do it on the ID field. Just a good tip. Another thing right here, you can see we are using the generated value strategy. Here we're using the UUID. That means that we have an ID which is a string, because UUID, that is a unique string that will be created every time we create a new entity. Okay, Mike. So far so good. So let us try it out. When we start up our application, then we have some services that will put in some dummy data. So that means that every time we start up, we will have slightly different data. I'm using the add post construct right here, and we have this animal rescue stat service right here. And then I use post construct, and then I add some data. We have a check right here if the repository count is greater than 0. Then we expect the database to actually be to have some data. We do not want to insert our dummy data then. But this is never the case, because I'm using H2 memory database, and I'm using and I'm using the Spring JPA starter. So that's what I have in my POM XML file. As usual, you can find my project on my GitHub account, so just download it and use it if you want to. So we have the seed data method, which is called as soon as this bean has been created and put in the Spring Boot context. Then this method here will be called, and we are creating one entity per week in the year 2025 right here. And then we have a random number 5 plus a random number, so that is actually it right over here right here. And then we add, and then we set the week, and then we create our entities, and then we save them in the end. We're actually not using this method right here, so let me just delete these methods right over here right here. And the same with the villains. Let me just go to the villains again. We're just creating some dummy villains, and what I would like to get, I would actually like to get out the data in one query. So that's what I do right here in my controller. I have an animal rescue stat controller. Usually I would use a service where I would extract the data from, but because it's a demo and it's quite simple what I want to do, so that I actually have the repository directly here. There are some developers that do not like to have any repositories at all in the controllers, which is fine. Then you just place it inside the service instead, in the service layer. Let us just go to this repository right here, because I actually have created. I actually like to, when I want to fetch something, then I like to write my JQL manually, because then I can do something like this. So I can say what data I want to get out, and that means that makes it much more efficient. Instead of us having first we would have to select all of the animals rescue stat entities. Then when we start accessing the villains, then we would create a new query per villain. So it's just more efficient when you already know that we need the villains defeated. Then we just add a left join fetch on the villains defeated right here. Of course, we could also give it an alias. We don't need that right now, but just call it VD. Then we have an alias, and we do not need the argument right there. So what is the related problem? Let us just check. There's no related problem. So now let us start up the application. Stop and rerun. And let us see what Spring Boot says. So first of all, if you want Spring Boot to create the tables manual for you, then you can just add these lines that I have right here. I have the DDL auto is set to create, so that means that all of the tables and all of the constraints are automatically created every time I start up my database. And here is a JDBC, this is a memory database, and I just have named it in Java 25 demo, and then SASA, and then I'm exposing the console on this path right here, H2 console. Okay, Mike, let us try to see some the results. So here we have the results, and I have a pretty print Chrome extension installed, so I can pretty print the JSON. I should be able to pretty print it. Oh. It does not like that. Why does it not like that? Let's just create new. Pretty print. It does not pretty print it, but maybe we can read it anyway. So here we actually have the content. So this is the animals rescued, and here we have a quantity of 41, and that is year 2025, week 1. And we have there's something with the data right now. Let me just check right here. Week 1. Right now we have a lot of, let me just check something right here. So what are we fetching? We are fetching, we're fetching the animals rescued entities right here. Should be no problem. Let me just rebuild. So, and here we have a to string exclude. You know what? It's because the JSON, we have an infinite loop in the JSON generation. But we could actually also say JSON JSON ignore like this. So yeah. So let us try again. I knew yeah, that is the downside by adding stuff on the fly. Sometimes though it will be error prone. So let us go again and we say refresh the data. And now we can print it. The reason why we could not print it before was because it was actually an infinite long string. So yeah, and it was probably, yeah. So here, yeah, but here we have it. So here we have it. We have the name, the number of cats, etc. that we are saving in week 1. And then we also have the villains defeated also right here. Of course, we could make this data nicer. Of course, we can convert it to DTO, so the data looks nicer. Then we would just say instead of quantity, then we could have animals rescued, and then we could have villains defeated. So that is the next thing that we could do. But you can see right here that the data is actually okay. We have a week 2 right here, week 2 with some other numbers right here. So it works, or a composite join actually works. So I'm already very, very proud of myself and very happy. So, but let us just create a DTO just for fun. If you if you want to create a DTO and you want to do it really fast, then you will create a record. So here we will have the animal villain stats DTO like this. We'll make it as a record. And what do we need right here? We want the year, we want the week, or we want the int year, int week, and we want int animals rescued. Yes, we want int villains defeated. It's so good. It's incredible with this AI. It's just so good at actually guessing what we want to do. It's almost scary sometimes. Okay, so here in our controller, then instead of a list of these entities right here, then we'll now return the DTO instead. So animal villains DTO. And then we need to convert them, of course. And again, with these Java streams, it's just so awesome. So we'll just map them, each entity. We'll map that to a new DTO. Animals villains stat DTO, there it is. And then we say year. I'll just go down on another line right here. So here first we need the year, then we need the week, then we need the quantity from the animals, and then we need the quantity from the villains defeated right there. And then we need to convert this to a list like this. Yes, streams are awesome. It's one of the best things that we got in the Java language. We got a lot of cool things, but this is one of the coolest things in my mind, in my opinion. That is because most of our logic is actually something in that we do something in loops always, right? So it just makes it much easier. If you haven't seen my other video on how to do statistics and how to do averages with streams, and then check that one out. It's quite good. It's quite useful. And again, now we refresh the data, and now we've got a nice DTO. So now we just have the data that we need: the year, the week, the animals rescued, and the villains defeated. Wow, that's beautiful, Jason. It is so nice. Whoa. This is awesome. You're awesome because you're here. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for being you. And that's it. Bye-bye. Hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hi.